Dr. James Wilk at UC Health says drinking pee could make you sick.
Okay, I don't know anything about this. You'll have to explain.
So yeah, just pull the video up.
Titled, "A Urine Therapy Group in Colorado Touts the Benefits of Drinking Your Own Pee. Doctors Disagree."
Lifestyle.
As you can see, this is my diet. I eat a lot of fruit. Papayas and mangoes and oranges and pears.
With one crucial drink that cannot be skipped.
You discover what this really is ultra-filtered blood plasma.
Or
urine. That ASMR.
I know they get the sound of it.
2 hours ago. Good year. So when we take in this water, we honor it. Some people say a little prayer or something, just to acknowledge that something's about to shift in their body and in their mind.
Through urine therapy, Brother Sage will cleanse his eyes.
Open your eye, blink a couple times.
And rinse out his nose.
Not really rocket science.
Dr. James Wilk at UC Health says drinking pee could make you sick, especially drinking someone else's.
It's entirely possible to get chlamydia or gonorrhea of your mouth from drinking somebody's urine if they have those particular diseases. You don't know what kind of drugs are in their urine. That can pose some risks. And you don't know what kind of infections they have in there.
Brother Sage isn't alone. About once a week at the Boulder Public Library, the urine
that's exactly what the comments
will meet, so members can talk about their experiences.
If you have stomach ache, you drink that, it goes away.
We'd like to challenge, actually, the scientific community.
Those people who recognize it are not going to stop it. This is not a been there, done that therapy. It's the people who are called to it are with it the rest of their life.
This guy's on Facebook 100%.
Definitely. Brother Sage and the healing water within.
Oh, he's selling a book. He's selling a book, of course.
This is a fascinating new medical treatment that I found out about. This is, people are tired of big pharma and their control over the media and them telling us what kind of treatments we can or can't take. When just natural treatments are there for everyone. So my notes that.
This is like something we would have done back in the day to like try to pass a piss test, like some crazy shit. I don't even understand.
Well, if you go through and you read some of the comments about it, some of the people that they're advocating for it. So there's a Gracie Ramirez said that she just discovered it in September. Her pains all went away. It makes her want to eat more healthy. Amen to God and our golden life-changing elixir. This is the best instead of doctors and expensive medicines or medicines at all. Mark Sampson, it works. I've used it myself. Blew an upper respiratory infection out in 3 to 4 days when I normally needed antibiotics. It can also stop anaphylactic shock and will stop allergies. All of my friends that have tried it for their sinus allergies got great results. You're ignorant and not doing anyone any favors. The reason it's not well known and shunned is that it's so powerful it could destroy the medical industry. And I did some looking into this, and there are actually put this up.
I'm reading a comment right now where it says, with 68 thumbs ups, it says doctors lose their license if they recommend urine therapy because it's free medicine. This is a real thing, I think.
I don't know if it's because of the free medicine that they would lose their license.
It's like a real thing.
It's a very real thing.
It's not just trolls.
It is not. So this is an old thing. It goes. I put that in the wrong spot. It's actually like referenced in the Bible. Proverbs 5:15 that you're supposed to drink water from your own cistern, flowing water from your own well. At least that's what they said. I don't think that that's actually what the passage meant. But I did go through and I found some actual scientific articles. This is from the NCBI, NLM. It's an NIH article, and they were doing studies on mice and the tumor sizes in mice, and the the difference is statistically significant between the control group and the test group. And the test group was the one that was given the urine as opposed to saline. The tumor volumes were reduced significantly in the urine-treated group. This is a peer-reviewed paper, but my point behind all this, these are the same arguments that anti-vaxxers make. You can do these same things. You can find these different communities that really advocate for these kind of strange fringe medical treatments, and you can go through and you can find scientific articles that are going to support your case. You can do this with anything.
Well, the problem, from my understanding, this is a waste product. It's leaving your body. It's not something you would want to reintroduce. You've been, your body has evolved to excrete this substance.
Yeah, sure it is. But in the interest, you definitely don't want to do it. But if you do want to do it, by the way, there's a number of different methods. Generally, they say that you're supposed to drink it. You drink the first pee of the day, and you want to catch it midstream. So you don't want to get the first bit. You don't want to get the last bit. I was going to roll this into just talking about the Joe Rogan controversy, his misinformation around COVID.
Hold on a second here. Let me, for any commenters who are listening or watching this clip, what would be the mechanism of action? I guess I could look further into this. If there's a paper to support, even one paper that's published supporting it, that means there's something there maybe, but I can't imagine what the mechanism of action would be. It just seems crazy to me.
Yeah,
any benefit, especially in cancer.
And it was, I believe in this case, it was applied topically to the tumors.
Well, that makes more sense, actually, than ingesting it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It was a haphazard segue into talking about the Rogan and the problem with platforming scientific misinformation. So we had a little bit of scientific misinformation about the urine therapy. Kind of funny.
This one?
Yeah.
Hello, friends. I wanted to make a video to address some of the controversy that's been going on over the past few days. And first of all, to say thank you to everyone that sent love and support. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it's been very nice to hear from you. I wanted to make this video, first of all, because I think there's a lot of people that have a distorted perception of what I do, maybe based on sound bites or based on headlines of articles that are disparaging. The podcast has been accused of spreading dangerous misinformation, specifically about 2 episodes, a little bit about some other ones, but specifically about 2. One with Dr. Peter McCullough and one with Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Peter McCullough is a cardiologist, and he is the most published physician in his field in history. Dr. Robert Malone owns 9 patents on the creation of mRNA vaccine technology and is at least partially responsible for the creation of the technology that led to mRNA vaccines. Both these people are very highly credentialed, very intelligent, very accomplished people, and they have an opinion that's different from the mainstream narrative. I wanted to hear what their opinion is. I had them on, and because of that, those episodes in particular, those episodes were labeled as being dangerous.
I think most people have probably seen this. This is his a big apology video that he says he claims here that he wanted to set the record straight. Probably what happened to Spotify made him. I imagine they took the 2 episodes down. I believe.
As of the other day, they took down something like 70 episodes. No,
interesting.
As of right now, we don't know. I don't think anybody knows if it's just an accident. That a lot of these, because he also got in trouble for a video going around about him saying the N-word repeatedly.
Oh, way back in the day, the old one?
Yeah, way back in the day, not maliciously, just using
being edgy.
Yeah, being edgy.
90s edge.
Anyway, so just like urine therapy, you can find legitimate, or just like Rogan does with these anti-vaxxers, you can find legitimate doctors talking about urine therapy. That doesn't really mean anything. Joe said, well, we want to hear the other side or get someone else's opinion. I feel like there's nothing inherently wrong with exposing people to this sort of thing. I enjoy hearing about these off the beaten path ideas, whether it's vaccines, Graham Hancock and Robert Schoch's views about the origins of civilization in the Egyptian kingdom, or the unorthodox views held by a bunch of bored hippies in Colorado and their piss fetish. The issue with presenting the unorthodox is that they're not shown in their proper context. This is the same strategy employed by the creationists that wanted equal time and pushed schools to teach the controversy. The problem with equal time is that these are not equal ideas. They do not represent two sides of a scientific debate. You can have 99% of scientists on one side of an argument and a very vocal and very well funded, generally, 1% on the other side. And to the layperson, the subject can appear to be an honest area of scientific debate. And in actuality, this is no more than just fringe dissent that occurs around anything. And, so that's essentially what's going on. This is what's going on with Joe right now. He's finding just these dissenting opinions, and you can play this game with anything. And just because you have seemingly reputable people speaking out against the scientific mainstream, it doesn't really mean anything, because you can find this with any area of science, whether it be urine therapy, whether you find antibiotic doctors, you can find doctors that claim that cigarette smoking doesn't cause cancer. It's all out there, and you can make all the exact same arguments that you would make in favor of, that the anti-vaxxers make in favor of all these other things. It just so happens that these things don't have the political and social momentum behind them that the anti-vax currently does.
Well, Rogan's been doing this for a while. The moon landing stuff was silly, and he kind of backed off of that, but he had Bob Lazar on and made like a huge deal out of it. It's one of his most popular episodes, and he's basically a snake oil salesman, right?
I mean, yes, I think he's full of, yeah, I guess so. I think he's full of crap. I'll listen to that one. It was good. I love listening to those guys. And that's kind of the I guess,
sure,
a little bit of a problem I find myself in, because I love listening to these guys that completely disagree with the scientific mainstream. Oftentimes, just because I like hearing about it. I don't give it any credence. I love listening to primatologists talk about Bigfoot. Now, I know that there's no Bigfoot, but I eat that shit up every time it comes on. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is like there's a really fine line, and especially when there's no. I don't know where the line is.
When you're promoting Bigfoot, there's no death toll involved, right?
That's the issue. Yeah, like we've got a medical emergency going on right now. We've got a worldwide pandemic. I don't know what responsibility Joe has towards, fairly and accurately disseminating the information, or giving his listeners an accurate view of that the information he's putting out there is not really scientifically accredited. It's not really given any weight in the scientific community.
Well, the point you made about the percentages is a good one. It's the same thing that Fox News claims. They say, "Oh, we're just presenting the other side of the argument." It's like, well, no, not really. You're making shit up. You're not representing the vast consensus in general when it comes to issues like climate change or anything like that.
Or you see it all the time with economists. You get some Chicago Austrian economists to come on there and say that austerity and country X is the way to get them out of the funk that they're in, and no one buys that. It says the same thing here in the U.S. Well, we need to help poor people by cutting food stamps. It's just not a representative thing, Yeah. But yeah. Economics is a science just like anything else. Maybe not quite as hard as many of the others, but
definitely not.
Definitely not. But point being,
yeah. But the issue is he's doing this appeal to authority. Like, these guys are legitimate scientists. They have all these patents. Sure, Sherry Tenpenny's a scientist too. That doesn't mean she's credible. She's been discredited. So is Robert Malone. I had some information about Robert Malone here. I don't know much about these guys. I just briefly looked into him here, but there's this article in the Atlantic, quoting from the article here. The abridged version is that when Malone was a graduate student in biology in the late 1980s at the Salk Institute for Biological Studies, he injected genetic material, DNA and RNA, into the cells of mice in hopes of creating a new kind of vaccine. He was the first author on an 1989 paper demonstrating how RNA could be delivered into cells using lipids, which is how we deliver everything everything we deliver into the nucleus of a cell now is with these lipids, the phospholipid things they do. I don't know what they call them. Tiny globules of fat. And he was a co-author in a 1990 science paper showing that if you inject pure RNA or DNA into mouse muscle cells, it can lead to the transcription of new proteins, which is pretty basic science. It's not like he was directly involved in the production of the COVID vaccine. This is very basic research back in the day, basically. He was just showing that if you can inject mRNA into the nucleus of a cell and cause transcription, which now was taken for granted, you know. And here is a... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, this is just, kind of, I guess, basic research that any scientist could be involved in at some point in time in their life. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. It could mean something, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything.
This was the very early days of like DNA tech, like knowledge about DNA in general. Here is a TikTok of Robert Malone, the great scientist.
Be posting the text of this statement so that you can share it with your friends and family. Here's the thing. Before you inject your child, a decision that is irreversible, I wanted to let you know the scientific facts about this genetic vaccine, which is based on the RNA vaccine technology I created. There are three main issues that parents need to understand before they take this irrevocable decision. The first is that a viral gene will be injected into your parent's cells.
Irrevocable.
This gene forces your child's body to make toxic spike proteins. These proteins often cause permanent damage in children's critical organs. These organs include their brain and nervous system, their heart and blood vessels, including blood clots, their reproductive system, and most importantly, this vaccine can trigger fundamental changes to their immune system.
Yeah, everything he said there is extremely distorted. First of all, he lies explicitly when he says often. These are extremely rare side effects. For one. For two, obviously, the spike protein is toxic. That's why the virus is a killer, man. Not hard to understand.
Yeah. So I was listening to that immediately. I thought of Carl Sagan.
Try to convince yourself that God created the whole universe.
Talking about the humility of the science, the humility of the sciences, and the humility of being a scientist and realizing you're just one very small piece in a giant network that produces these scientific advancements. And when you like repeatedly refer to yourself as the founder and the discoverer of this and that, when nobody else recognizes you as that, it just throws red flags. Like just on a personal level, stuff like that kind of throws red flags for me.
The ominous, like, before you inject your children with this vaccine.
Irreversible vaccine.
Before you ruin your child's life forever.
Irrevocable consequences.
You made the analogy to the tobacco industry, which I think is perfect because, like we were saying, the Bigfoot stuff's not dangerous, but this stuff actually has bodies associated with it. And tobacco is obviously a huge killer. This is a bit of a throwback here.
I don't believe that nicotine or our products are addictive.
I believe nicotine is not addictive.
I believe that nicotine is not addictive. I believe that nicotine is not addictive.
And I too believe that nicotine is not addictive.
Anyhow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a game as old as time. And when you have a scientifically illiterate society, you can pull these games on people where you have kind of charismatic spokespersons come out. They do this on both sides. I mean, this is what Fauci was. I guess he was supposed to be a charismatic spokesperson for the scientific community, the actual scientific community. And I don't know. I think this all just this should I think push society towards teaching more scientific literacy to our citizens, so that we know how science works. We know that you can play these games with cherry picking studies, and that there's always going to be dissent, and there's always going to be what seem like really convincing and arguments that will run opposite to the scientific consensus. And we as just citizens of the world, you have to be able to learn how to kind of navigate that path as best you can. It's not easy because it has its own lexicon, and the way these I'm sure you've tried to read scientific articles before. They are not made for the layman to be able to understand very well. But it's important. It's important, and stuff like this. When there's a global pandemic and there's a strong misinformation campaign that's out there in the zeitgeist, lives are being lost because of it. And if more people knew how to kind of parse scientific literature, or just how to find, I guess, a reputable representative of the community to listen to, then I think we would certainly be a lot better off as a human race.
Sure. Just what's the solution though? Like, it seems like the pendulum has swung so far the other direction since like the 80s. Like, back in 70s and 80s, it was all science and facts, and for some reason the media has went. I don't know what the solution is though. Like, the media has really swung the other direction. It's like facts don't even matter anymore.
I'm not here to present
people are
the solution.
too busy to read scientific papers.
I'm saying somebody should find the solution, and you all figure that out. So.
Well, my question is the solution censoring this shit? Quote unquote censoring. I mean, I don't consider it censorship because it's literal misinformation, but is there any solution besides that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's, there's no easy answer. Obviously, each case is going to be different. Jon Stewart made a video this past week, kind of talking about this whole thing, this controversy, and he was just saying, yeah. I mean, really, what you do in this situation is you push back, and you come out and you present the correct science, and you make it available to people, and try to get it out to as many people as you can, explain it in the best way as you can, and it doesn't always work. In particular, it seems like conservatives, well, I guess the conservatives in particular, have already kind of preempted any push that someone like myself is advocating for, which is teach a better understanding or teach better scientific literacy in schools, by kind of ingraining this distrust in the scientific community. This they were doing with climate change, for example, is a perfect one.
Right.
Creationism. Creationism. It's just kind of so ingrained now that, well, you can have your view and I can have my view, and we'll just kind of give it equal time. We'll agree to disagree, and it's all about opinion. Well, this is my opinion, that's your opinion, and science doesn't care about opinions at all. I mean, how do you tell somebody that is of the opinion that their opinion matters that it doesn't matter? Just sterilization.
Sterilize it.
Yeah. Put it on record. Tony's advocating for eugenics.